Yeah, today I want to go over some of the questions that I get literally 100 times a day, and it's important to answer these. And I can, so instead of answering them 100 times a day, I can just, refer back to this video. Number one is, how did my wife die? Well, to answer that, she fell down a flight of stairs. I dropped her off at her seventh rehab. The following day, she fell down a flight of stairs. Apparently, she was unsupervised. She had recently had a knee replacement surgery. She was fairly wobbly. I think she had Wernicke-Korsakoff wet brain, anyways, which is a form of dementia. She was in really bad shape, and unfortunately, that's not what killed her. She ended up the rehab took her to UCLA, which was only about 2 miles away because she was in Los Angeles. She was in ICU for 28 days. Horrible, horrible last month of her life. She went through 12 operations, and essentially all her organs were failing: kidney, pancreas, liver, heart, her brain. She had problems with her esophagus, her entire intestinal tract. Eventually, she succumbed to toxic shock, which is they tried to get uh, all the infection out of her body, and they were unable to do so. That's the whole point of the operations. And then low blood pressure. Eventually, her heart just simply stopped working from all the stress and pressure. And it was a very, very, very difficult, sad time to watch. I visited her a couple times because, some people have a problem with that. Well, she was essentially in a coma. And at that time, I really was trying to walk away from the situation, as crazy as that sounds. She had been to over a dozen hospitals during the 5 years previous to this. And there's only so much you can do as a spouse and as a fellow human being. Another question I get almost every day was, "Did you drink with her?" And I've always said this, with a resounding no. I never drank with my wife. It was never a us thing. It was always something that she did. That's not to say that I don't drink. I mean, occasionally I have a bourbon with a cigar, maybe once every couple of weeks, but it's not part of my life. I have always had more of an athletic life. I played football, lacrosse, I weightlifted. I mean, even to this day, I walk 35 to 40 miles a day and work out with weights 3 to 4 times a week. So I don't have time to be drinking. And in this case, it was always something that she did. A lot of people have difficulty with that, don't care. That was just the way we lived. It was something that she did. She popped a cork on a wine bottle when she came home from work, and 10 years later, those glasses of wine became bottles. They became bigger bottles, and eventually it became anything she could get her hands on. But I never drank with her. If we went out to dinner and she ordered wine, I never drank with her. Even when we went out to dinner, I ordered a soda or simply had water. Never, ever did I drink with her because I did not want to encourage her in any way, shape, or form. And really, the most irritating questions of all, really, are it must be the husband's fault, the reason why the wife was unhappy, or it must be the family's fault, specifically in my case, the husband. So, yeah, obviously, I must have contributed to it either by enabling my codependency or, I was just a pain in the ass, and that's why she was drinking. And anybody who's ever been in the situation knows how absolutely untrue and insulting that is, especially when you spend years of your life trying to save somebody and having to take the fall for a lot of the craziness that they create, like driving through the front of the house. I mean, you have to pay for all their problems, all their court fees, their tickets, things like that, and you've become culpable for that person. And then to be turned around and blamed for those actions is just, it's really obscene. I've said this before. Anybody in the situation understands that completely. To be blamed for the actions of someone who has alcohol use disorder is just absolutely, it's intensely insulting. And if you haven't been in that situation, a lot of women specifically ask that question mainly because they're really exposing their own baggage. Maybe they had a bad relationship, so it must mean mine was a bad relationship, and there's nothing further from the truth. And that's really all I have to say on it. That's one question I wish that would stop and go away. Usually when I get it, I just block the person. I give them a chance to apologize, and if they don't, gone. I just have no patience for it anymore. On that note, I hope some of these questions have been answered. And again, today's Labor Day. If you're seeing this, later, weeks later, this is Labor Day. I made this really quick. Again, if you're ready to work with me one-on-one, click on the link above in the link tree. Go to the calendar link, set up a breakthrough call. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour. I do a deep dive in what's going on with you and your family, and then we go over the coaching program. The call is free. The coaching program, definitely not. I also go live generally Monday through Friday, right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, and we have the Facebook group, which is a very good support group called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. And again, thanks for listening.